Shalom, giving all praise unto Yahbashim Hashai, Bashim Kohakodasha, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors to brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Above everybody are coming out here to give you this truth, through the grace and mercy of Yahbashim Hashai, Bashim Kohakodash. It's going to be a relatively quick video. Esau was blessed with the sword. You can get that from the scriptures. It's going to be the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter. And the 37th verse. Esau's the red Hebrew Edomite. They're the ones that rule the world right now. And the Most High blessed them with a great sword. And through the great sword that was bestowed upon them, they was going to have it to where craft was going to prosper within their hands. Their ability to run and control particular things. Whether it be the world economics. Whether it be the decisions that gets made. Just, I can't think of a direct example off the top of my head right now, but the economy is a great one. So you had the situation with Gaddafi, and he was trying to build up the economic prowess, for lack of a better word, of them African nations, and they bumped the hell out of him. Same too, when we see this great transfer of wealth and resources to the elite banking families, and we get ready for what's known as the Great Reset, we see that particular economic tools and economic, rather more, swords, right? Various types of swords, let's put it like that. Various different types of swords have been used against the people, whether they be economic, social, whatever you want to call it. These various ways Esau's used his power to overcome and overtake the people. And we see with the C-19 thing how they've taken control of your body, right? They've got authority over your body now. They can do whatever they want with your body right now, because there's legislation that's been passed. And of course, to remembrance, the book of Micah, where it says, I believe it's the book of Micah or the book of Isaiah, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. And indeed, Esau decrees some heinous, ridiculous, unrighteous decrees to the end the people are jacked up. They're messed up. They're through. And it goes back onto these scriptures, right? These scriptures tell us a great deal about what was going to happen within the future. And ultimately, what the end all be all of everything was going to be, which the end all be all of everything is going to be Yahushua returning and beating Esau, who's been blessed with the sword. And he's going to beat Esau with the spiritual power, man. Okay? He's going to beat Esau with the spiritual power, because Esau ain't been blessed with the spiritual power, right? Esau's working on a lower level. So it says here, on a lower level than the spirit. It says it, and that's why the scripture says the Lord, when he returns, he ain't gonna meet Esau as a man. Okay, and also too, going back onto this article that we're gonna read, Esau wants to put all kind of crazy things in our bodies, man. Now it's bad enough we're eating junk. It's bad enough we're eating all of this crazy food and all of this mystery food. It's bad enough that's happening. But this is why the scripture says our bodies are gonna need to be changed. The Most High's eyes, he doesn't want to behold iniquity. Right, that's one thing. So our bodies are spiritually defiled, but also too, they're physically defiled, because we're living underneath the heathen. And the scripture talks about how our food was going to be defiled underneath the heathen, when we was going to live underneath the heathen. Right, let's not stray too far from the point. So Esau's been blessed with a sword, right? Isaac said unto Esau, behold, I've made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given him, with corn and wine have I sustained him, and what shall I do unto thee, my son? Esau said unto his father, is that but one blessing for me, O father? Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So he was going to have control over the earth for a certain period of time. But as by the sword shalt thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother. So he was going to live by the sword. And by that sword is I cannot word it so it doesn't flag up on YouTube. It's the industry of pharmaceutical business, let's put it like that. Hopefully that doesn't flag up on the YouTube. That's part of the sword. We've seen how he's used and utilized the little sword via the C-19 thing to push the agenda of the NWO. You do not own your body anymore, as far as this the WHO is concerned. The World Health Organization, they've seized the autonomy of and control of your body. They own your body now. Okay, and they're gonna put whatever they want to put within it, and this is why we see these particular things that they're trying to push out there. And this is gonna be heralded as the next innovation in technology, the next innovation in in human um human life, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the wording is that's going to make sense here. They're going to use it as the next step forward, right? That's how I would phrase it. They're going to say this is the next step forward in human evolution. So, quote unquote, their human evolution, of which, when you understand these elite banking families, they want to do something that's known as transhumanism. They want to use and utilize something that's known as transhumanism. Now, on the right hand side, the Most High is actually going to give us greater bodies, and more powerful and more useful bodies, right? On the right, when Yahushua sets up his kingdom, we're gonna have the spiritual bodies, and with the spiritual bodies, we're gonna be able to do particular things, man. Which is what Esau's trying to obtain now with his blessing, which is the sword. He's trying to obtain those particular things. Okay, so scientists develop a gelatinous, which gelatinous just means jelly, right? Like a jelly-like substance. A jelly bean is gelatinous, right? Or used to have when we was in the world, you have the trifle, right, with the gelatin in it. So they've created a robot that's basically made of this material, this gelatinous material, to crawl through the body to deliver medical payloads and diagnose illnesses. And what you always have to do with Esau is you have to look and entertain the flip side. And if this be the case on that they're trying to push, in I'll say in terms of a positive spin, you always have to entertain what's going to be done on a negative. So they're going to be able to push this for a certain amount of time as a positive, and when they want to use the kill switch, so to speak, they'll be able to wipe out a whole bunch of people. Gotta remember, the so-called backers, or at least the face of the people that are supposed to be the backers of these different programs, guys like Bill Gates and Elon Musk and so on and so forth. They've been speaking for a long time about eliminating the population of the earth. They've been speaking about that for the longest time. They've been speaking heavy about that for the longest time. And lo and behold, we're in a time now where they got the technology to actually do these things. And they call this the gel boat. It's powered by a little more than temperature changes, and its innovative design, which resembles an inchworm, is one of the most promising concepts in the field of soft robotics. And they're going to be able to do what? They're going to be able to do payloads and so on and so forth. But also, too, when you consider the social credit system that they're trying to implement and all of these different stuff, and they're going to show you the video here. When you consider all of these particular things that they're trying to bring forth, this is an important part of it, because if you don't comply, this little gel bot could be used as a means of not just shutting you off from the social credit system, but also just completely, taking you out. They'll be able to manipulate your emotions, right, via these technologies. So let's say they sense too much testosterone in your body, they're gonna be able to do particular things in order for you to be pacified. And pacify is important in this NWO. They don't want men out here. Why do you think they speak about toxic masculinity? Because the men within the society are a threat. The men within the society are a threat, right, to the NWO, because the men, when they fully understand, and that's why you got this whole thing of these men out here, they ain't got no agency. They want to be cute boys, right? They want to be little cute boys, but they ain't masculine. They ain't got no agency. They ain't got no autonomy, right? The ability to critically think about an idea. Like, why am I standing in a line to get the stab and jab, right? Because Esau said that I gotta get the stab and jab before I get back to work. Let me think about this critically. What's really happening here? Okay, that's what these young men, and because the older generation, they had agency. They knew about things, right? To the end that there was a time when the older generation was resisting the what's known as the bank card. Now look at where we are now. You can pay with your phone and so on and so forth as we move towards the CHIP. Right, so they want pacified individuals, and this could be a means of delivering that pacification payload, like they showed you within that movie Equilibrium. And dudes was walking around just devoid of agency, devoid of just logic and reason, because that goes back onto the endocrine system, which is just a fancy way of saying the hormones within your body. And Esau can manipulate you with chemicals. That's why they put all kind of fluoride and this, that, and the third within the water for you to be easily. Not just easily manipulated. When you got low T, you ain't coming up against the system. When you got low T and they bring about the CHIP and say this is the only way you're going to eat, you ain't coming up against it because you're pacified. You're dependent on the government. Okay? Scientists have created a teeny tiny creeping crawling like robot, and they hope to travel through the human body to cure diseases. And that's the spin, right? 3D printed all of this stuff, and that's the thing there. Yeah, they're going so-called deliver medical what they saying here to cure diseases, but no. They're gonna use that for what they want you to use, what they want for their agenda, which is to further their households. Right? They're trying to use these particular things to further their household. So think about this in terms of the NWO and how they could use this particular technology. So hopefully that was of edification. But I'm gonna say, go praise unto Yahweh, Shema Shabbat, Shema Kodash, double honors unto the apostles of great millstone. Which you brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.